She started reading, and I could hear the anger building in her voice. Oliver wrote that he had been doing a lot of thinking. He said he realized how much his family's opinion meant to him, but he was willing to make a sacrifice for us. He said he would cut off his entire family if I would take him back. He said we could move to a different city and start fresh without them. He made it sound like he was offering me this huge gift. But the whole letter was full of guilt trips. He kept saying how much he was willing to sacrifice. He said I was forcing him to choose between his family and me. He said no other woman had ever made him feel this conflicted. He wrote about how hard this decision was for him, and how much it would hurt to lose his family. Every sentence made it clear that he resented having to pick. He was offering to cut them off, but he wanted me to know what it was costing him. He wanted me to feel guilty for making him choose. My mom finished reading and asked what I wanted her to do with it. I told her to throw it away. I didn't need to respond. Oliver was still trying to manipulate me into feeling responsible for his choices. He hadn't learned anything. He still didn't understand that the problem wasn't just his family. The problem was him and his inability to stand up for what was right. I called my friend who works as a lawyer and asked her advice about getting Oliver and his family to stop contacting me. She said I should send a formal cease and contact letter. She offered to write it for me for free, but I insisted on paying her something. It cost me $300 I didn't really have, but it felt necessary. The letter went to Oliver and his parents and his brother. It said they needed to stop all communication with me immediately. It said any further contact would be considered harassment. It mentioned the messages to Elena and the voicemails from his mother and the letter to my parents' house. It said I was documenting everything in case I needed legal protection later. My friend sent it certified mail so we would have proof they received it. She told me to keep records of any contact that happened after they got the letter. I felt better having that boundary in place even though it cost money I couldn't afford. At least now there was a legal record that I had asked them to leave me alone. 3 months after walking out of the welcome circle, I made an appointment with a therapist. I knew I needed help understanding why I almost married into that family. I needed to figure out what made me ignore so many warning signs. The first session was hard. The therapist asked me to describe my relationship with Oliver from the beginning. As I talked, I started seeing patterns I hadn't noticed before. How he always made plans without asking my opinion first. How he would get quiet and distant when I disagreed with him. How he expected me to spend every holiday with his family, but never made time for mine. The therapist said I had been taught to be accommodating. She said I saw love as something you earn through sacrifice instead of something freely given. She said that made me vulnerable to Oliver's family dynamics. Over the next few weeks, we worked on understanding why I stayed so long. Why I agreed to the welcome circle even though everything in me said it was wrong. She helped me see that I had been taught to value other people's comfort over my own well-being. She said learning to recognize my own worth independent of anyone else's approval would take time. The sessions were expensive and hard, but I kept going. I was learning things about myself that I needed to know.